Um, Now we're recording. Welcome to our February 2025 AA Technology Sharing Session. The idea for these sharing sessions came about during the 2023 National AA Technology Workshop. There was a common feeling that our community um, of technology trusted servants needed more frequent opportunities to get together and share our experiences than just once a year. These monthly sessions attempt to meet that need. The sessions are on the last Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. The one exception is that our upcoming December meeting will be on the 16th to not to conflict with Christmas and New Year's. The topic of tonight's session is Bridging the Gap. I'm very excited about tonight's session. We have two presenters for you. After the presentations, we'll have about 30 minutes for questions and sharing. So as you listen to the presentations, please write down any questions or comments that come to mind so that you won't forget them when we get to the question and answer period. And then we'll finish the whole thing up by 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. These sharing sessions and the format are an experiment. This is our second year of that experiment, but it's experiments just the same, and we've been refining it as we go. So please provide your feedback at the end through the survey link that will be put in the chat. For those sharing, for these sharing sessions to evolve into a long-term sustainable service project, we're going to need your help. And Brett will be posting some things to this chat. Please consider signing up to chair one of these technology sharing sessions. This will involve picking the topic, arranging the presenters. The steering committee will gladly help you with that if needed. And then you'll do what I'm doing right now, reading the format and facilitating the session itself. While you're welcome to sign up to chair a month as an individual, feel free to also take it on as an area or a group of trusted servants. If you're available to chair a session or are interested in serving in our steering committee, please reach out to techsharingsessions@gmail.com. Again, that's techsharingsessions@gmail.com. That'll be in the chat. We would also appreciate any contributions to help with our virtual Zoom expenses. We don't have a lot of expenses, but there are a few expenses. So if and when you want to, if you contribute a few dollars using the link that's being posted in the chat, it'll offset the cost of the Zoom account that we're using and some of the storage needs that we have. Again, our financial needs are very minimal.
Right now.
Small
Oh
contributions
boy.
are going to go a
Right
long way.
down.
Here we go. There may be links and other information put into the chat throughout the session today, so you don't have to worry about trying to collect all the information. You can just listen and follow along, and everything that we post will be available in Google Doc. It'll be linked eventually, and of course, all of this will be available in the archives. He just posted the session link for the archives. Notice if you go to that archive folder right now, there might be very little in it, but if you go back to it later on, after we've had a chance to put the items in there, like the recording of the technology session and fill out the link document, you'll find all of the information that was covered in the technology sharing session in that folder. Lastly, please consider these sharing sessions as a learning group, where very few of us are experts in technology. We're just AA members that made ourselves available to help with our local service entities. And because of that, we now have some experience to share. So with that in mind, let's get into today's topic. Our presenters today are April and Cheryl. April is from Area 34, West Michigan, and Cheryl J. is in Area 39, West Missouri. Getting those codes right. They are going to be sharing about bridging the gap. And we are going to be starting this evening with April. So if you all give April a really warm welcome. They can't hear your applause, but do it anyway.
Hi, everybody. I'm April. I'm an alcoholic. So a little backdrop how I got to serve for Area 34 for the treatment chair. I live in a little tiny community in the middle of nowhere in northern Michigan, and there's a treatment center here. So I came into Alcoholics Anonymous via Zoom. I ended up getting surgery, so I was off of work for like 6 weeks. So my sponsors like, April, why don't you try some face-to-face meetings? Great idea. So I really wanted to go to find out why local people weren't taking meetings into a treatment center here. So, anyways, I go to some face-to-face meetings and I ask questions. They send me to the group conscience, who sends me to the district, who sends me to the area. No treatment committee at any level. And so I got nominated to be Area 34 Treatment Committee, the chair. And part of it was bridging the gap. So I was handed some information and said, here you go. And as soon as I found out what bridging the gap was, my heart just opened up. The reason being, I have been in multiple treatment centers and incarcerated time and time again. And boy, what a difference I think bridging the gap might have made for me. So that's why I'm so passionate about getting this out to other people. So I took the position and I was handed, which a lot of you probably have seen this before, but the request form for bridging the gap. And I was like, gosh, the program sounds so good. That's amazing. But I had an issue with the process of how it's done. So you take it into the treatment centers, the newly sober people fill it out, it gets mailed in, and then the contact is made. And I'm thinking, gosh, there's got to be a better way of doing this. So collectively, I got with tech committee, some friends that are on the area level, and we put some ideas together. The idea that originally started was, how can we make it happen quicker instead of the snail mail? So we ended up creating, so I'm just going to walk you through some things really quick. We still use that pamphlet, and that pamphlet comes in very, very handy because of how we've tied it into technology. So let me share my screen. Can everybody see this? I just need tech. Can you thumbs up? Okay, wonderful. I am not a techie person, so that's why I need some help. Thank you guys so much. So, with the pamphlet that people fill out for people in treatment, they fill this out, but another option that we give them is this business card. And here we have a phone number they can call because some people don't want to fill the form out while they're in treatment. So they'll call the phone number listed. The QR code takes them directly to our website, and we'll go over that as well. And it's instantaneously when they submit their information. So they're not waiting on the post service. And then they can always visit the Area 34 website. Yeah. I'm finding out going into I get to go into that local treatment center now. I get to be one of those members, which is really cool. But when we are going in there, we hand out the pamphlet for people in treatment. They do fill it out, and then us service members immediately put it into the system for the Area 34. And it goes onto a spreadsheet. Our coordinator then makes that connection happen from the person that's newly sober to the volunteer within the area. And then we have a spreadsheet, and I'll pull that up so we can go over this real quick. I don't know how to minimize anything, so I've got like a million things up here. So as soon as this is for the volunteers. We also have this available for the newly sober people when they enter their information, but I'm just going to show you the volunteers on my side. So these are the master form of the people. Then we take them and we put them into the district that they belong to. So for just example, we have 18 total different districts in Area 34. And here is our list of volunteers. So the moment that we get the request, we match them, men with men, women with women, to the district that they're going to be moving to. So that's just in a nutshell what we're doing with Area 34, making Bridging the Gap happen a lot quicker. And it has been successful. It's been really successful. our only thing that we're trying to do. And I'm super excited to hear and watch what Sherry's doing. I had the opportunity to go to the Bridging the Gap workshop a year and a half ago, and I even fell more in love with the Bridging the Gap program, especially when you hear firsthand from people that it's benefited from. It's an amazing program. So in hopes of learning some of what she's doing to be implemented into our area also. And I think it's really, really important. Like, I've got to take ownership on an area level, but now it's about letting individual people in their districts, the district committee chairs, the treatment committee chairs, take their own ownership. So that is, in a nutshell, what we're doing. The only thing to add to it is our Bridging the Gap posters. This is for all types of facilities, from the treatment detoxes to the state hospitals. It's just another form, another way that they're able to reach out to our committee so that they can get the help a lot quicker. So that's what I have. It was really fast, so I'm open for questions.
I think we'll do the questions at the end. We'll give, if that's okay. I don't know if
No,
something
that's
else
no
was
problem.
arranged, but we'll let Sherry give her presentation, and then we'll take questions directed at both of you at the end. Sherry, you want to get started, or is that it, April?
That's what I have. Yes.
Okay, Sherry, you want to get started? Thank you.
Me
Thank you very
unmute.
much.
There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Sherry. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Sherry.
Um, I am currently one of the steering committee for the National Bridging the Gap Workshop Weekend. And I call home Kansas City. So um, thank you for the invitation. This is what I see as the last real piece of 12-step work that AA has. A little bit of how I got involved. I moved to Kansas City in '86, and I walked into a district meeting, and they were having their committee meetings, and there was this thing called a Bridge the Gap meeting. And they walked over and handed me a piece of paper and said, sign up. And in those days, everything was snail mail and long distance and dial-up phones. So it was a little bit different world with trying to match contacts and meeting the people that were coming out of facilities. Now, in my area, we don't differentiate between treatment or corrections. I'm in Area 39, Western Missouri, and Bridge the Gap covers both. Anybody in any facility that wants to get to a meeting, we rely on the treatment committee to give them the information about Bridging the Gap, and the corrections committee and the correctional facilities. And then when somebody wants to go to an AA meeting, we match it up with the appropriate person to get them to the closest meeting. Usually we suggest about 2 weeks and a variety of meetings. We all know that different groups have different flavors to them, and we want to find one where they can nest better. And April, you were supposed to talk for a lot longer, by the way, just to let you know. And I was a contact. I was a contact for years. I have met people at airports, bus stations, the doors of the facility when they slide open the gates and let them out, in treatment centers. Never had any bad experiences. We are like snakes. We're supposed to travel in pairs, and I always followed that rule. And it's an amazing experience. One of the ways that I worked in corrections, I took some meetings. I took a meeting into a state penitentiary. And in that facility, you had to be sentenced to at least 35 years to life. and I was one on the committee trying to get back in. So Bridge the Gap was a little iffy with that. But I sat in that meeting and I realized that the guys that were in there, they weren't going to move to a better neighborhood. They weren't sobering up because they were going to get a better job or get their family back. They just wanted to be sober. And they wanted to keep that when they got out. That's always affected me in the way that I look at carrying the message. And you never know who's going to make it and who's not. So fast forward a little bit, I got coerced into going to a district camp out one weekend. And I was just going to go sing around the campfire, do the thing, not a big deal. What I didn't know was that weekend was the planning session. My area, my district, were hosting the National Bridging the Gap workshop weekend. And I had never been before that. So we had our little camp out. And by the time it was over, somehow I was registration chair. And this was in 2004. So I'm doing and we used to make copies, thousands of copies to hand out to people of different literature and registration forms. And at that, the Bridge the Gap workshop weekend started to build a network between areas. Again, this is long distance and snail mail. And just so that we would have at least one contact in another state that we could make a phone call to and say, hey, I've got somebody coming out that's going where you are. Can you do something with this? And half of our budget was long distance, copies, and shipping. And so I'm doing registration. And one of the things that we did was we handed out hard copies of the people's name, contact information in different states. If it was someplace like Texas, California, New York, we'd have 2 or 3 different names in different parts of the state. And I'm taking registrations and I'm handing this stuff out. And almost everybody would take out that list and look at it first to see what was listed in their state. And then they'd turn around and come back and say, this is out of date. So it was obsolete from the get-go. The best we had at the time. My background in technology is computers, computer programming. I had my first website up in 95. So, and started programming in Cold Fusion around 2000. So my mind immediately went to, there's got to be a better solution. We could update this information and have it real time and have it accurate if we could get it on the internet. So the next year I proposed that to the workshop. They all thought it was a great idea. But again, we were limited by the information we had. And somehow, if somebody drinks again, if they move to a different neighborhood, if they, we were like way on the bottom of the list of who they were going to remember to update their information. So we had a viable concept, but we were still having trouble keeping the data up. So over the next few years, what we did was gently get away from having the one contact or the different contacts in different cities. And as more areas began to put up websites and have email addresses for their elected committee chairs in treatment, corrections, or Bridge the Gap, we started gathering those email addresses. What we have today, and I'll pull it up in a minute, is a national database. We've worked through all 93 areas, getting the correct email address. We review those about every 6 months to make sure they're still current and that we can have all the email addresses we want, but it's always based on how often they check their email And I will say in the past decade, it's gotten a lot better. So we set up the database and started sending out information to the different areas. The form is in the public area, and basically all somebody has to do, of course, HIPAA came in and different rules. If they're in a treatment center, they can go onto that form and fill out a request. And what it does is depending on what state you click on the map, it will pull the email address of the corresponding area up and automatically send that information to the contact that the area has designated is supposed to receive that. Some areas don't have Bridging the Gap. Some areas are split into contact on release. There's about 10 different names for the same process. Welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. We have temporary contact programs, contact on release, pre-release, Bridge the Gap, several of them. And it's all the same thing. It's all making sure that somebody who's coming out of any facility that wants to go to AA has somebody that they don't have to admit that they're scared to join them to go to a meeting. That's the biggest hurdle. So we match those up. We have expanded a little bit. So just to make sure that nothing gets dropped, we will send a copy of an email to the treatment chair, the corrections chair, and the Bridge the Gap chair. We will back it up with a copy to the area chair and say, we've sent this request, please follow up for us. That way, because every area is different. In some areas, Bridge the Gap is a subcommittee. In some areas, it's a standing committee. In some areas, it's split between corrections and treatment. That's one of the things is because it's such a grassroots thing that has developed, it's developed in 93 different ways. So our main objective is to simply cover all the bases and make sure that anybody who wants to get to a meeting will have somebody to go with them to that meeting. We have had all kinds of requests. We had one come through, guy was going home to Egypt. And it just happened that we had, because of other countries looking at what we've been doing, we had a contact in Egypt and we could set it up and make sure that he got bridged when he was off the plane. And, A is not real popular in that part of the world. So felt really good about that. So let me share first the national website. And I guess I should share it, not.
Sherry, could you put a link in chat when you get a chance as well?
Yeah, April, you want to throw that up in chat? You know what it is, don't you? Okay.
Thank you.
This is the homepage that you would go to. We give a brief overview here. About Alcoholics Anonymous is straight out of the pamphlet in the white sheet. So is problems other than alcohol. We've taken stuff directly from the conference approved literature. Brief tutorial. I'll get into the digital library later. We do publish a newsletter once a quarter, just to give you updates on the next workshop and different things that are going on. The spring one will have a few notes about what's happening at conference, if anything. It varies from year to year. How to contact us, and the login is for admin. In big red letters, depending on how your screen is sequenced, and I'm having a hard time not having a big enough screen. You You can do online registration. You can do paper registration. When you request contact, what you'll do is you get this map, and we are reworking to make this more computer friendly, or I'm sorry, smartphone friendly. But like I said, you click on the map. It really works good until you're trying to figure out California. Not Area 9 and 93 are a little iffy. Sometimes you're not sure in Texas which part it goes to. But what we found is if you're going to Houston and somebody clicks on the area that Dallas is in, they will forward that. The areas within the state seem to work really well with each other. So you would just click on the state where you're being released to, and fill out the form. In treatment, we can give the client the direct information. In a correctional facility, you usually can't, you can't leave anything, you can't take anything in. So we work with the release coordinator for when the inmates are getting ready to be released. And they can go on to this and fill out this information. Like I said, once they fill out this form, then it goes into the database, picks the area that they're being released to, and sends, and should have brought that up. And just all this information is sent. It's sent in a text style email. So if somebody's getting it on a flip phone, they will still be able to read it. And then we leave it up to the area to sort out who's going to handle it and how they do it internally. I have actually seen in my own area a request come in, and the gal that was doing it at the time, she flipped through. She had another form that from our area website where she could look at the contacts, and she had a bridge set up within 15 minutes. And yeah, like April said, when it's, and they still do it, they send the information to GSO. A week later, 2 weeks later, it gets back to the area to set up the bridge. By that time, they're already out and probably drunk. That's just the reality. So doing it through modern technology, I know has saved some lives. I've heard the stories. And that's about how this works. We try to keep it real simple. We do contact the areas and try to keep the information updated as best we can. We'll go in and scrape websites, and gather email addresses. I want to absolutely invite you all to our next workshop. It will be in LA. And one of the things we're working on is developing a workbook. We can't seem to get that out of committee at the conference level. So that's one of the projects we've taken on. We also, depending on what year it is, this year it will be the corrections desk from GSO, and they'll be joining us. And we rotate. One year it'll be the treatment desk, and the next year it'll be the corrections desk. The other thing we'd worked on, and this came up a few years ago, is a contact coordination list. One of the things, like I said before, is at the area level, it's hard to keep up with who's still a contact, who's on vacation, who moved, who went back out. And what we found is that at the district level, it's much easier to take care of that, to keep in touch, to keep that list active. So along with, I'm trying to look at which one this is. Okay. I wrote a contact coordination. It's not a plugin. The requirements to make a certified plugin are extreme. And So what I did was I wrote this in raw PHP. It does work with a MySQL database. And it can be added on to a WordPress site, a Cold Fusion site, a Python, HTML, if your host has database access. And it is there's no colors, there's no images. So if you get somebody that will work with it, you can go in and dress it up and add that stuff so it looks like it's an integral part. To make it work, you just simply have to add, your images and your people, put it on, add the tables to the existing WordPress database, and it works. And the idea is it's set up so that you can give a username and password to each Bridge the Gap person, whoever it is in each district. They can go in and update and keep their district list current. And they can also see everybody else in the district, and the area person, whoever is designated to it, can also set that up. You have a level 1 admin or a level 2, which would be at the district level. It is all fill out the form and push the button. If you want to add, and I'm pulling this one up, I put generic names just for a show so you can see that. You can sort by district. I don't know how much this one's. You can sort by first name, age, willing to bridge, and we have in here treatment or corrections or both. Women, especially older women, have some hesitation about signing up for corrections, and with good reason sometimes. We also have the date that contact was added and the date that it was last updated. And like I said, this is just a test to show. This is not real data. Whoops. And if you're looking for, I gotta look and see if I do have more than one district. If you want just to list a certain district, you can do that. And it will come down, just list the people in those districts. If you want, make sure I have some, yeah. If you want a female contact in District 7, you can sort by that. We do have Spanish. We do have a place where you can enter in other languages. If you want to sort by postal code or zip code, you can do that. What we found with zip codes, I don't know what drunk designed the zip code boundaries, but they were on a roll. Let me tell you. You can be in a zip code and 2 blocks from somebody in another zip code, or be in the same zip code and be 5 miles away. So I put it in there because there are still entities that try to go by zip code. Sometimes it's just easier to look. I need to log out. Of course it has. That's not the one I want. Hold on just a second. This one, you'll notice up here, you don't see all the buttons. The other one was an admin login to add the district people. With this one, they fill out the form, push the button. That's it. And it will automatically put them into the district that their sign-in is associated with. They want to update contact information, they only get the list of people in their district. And the same for delete a contact. They can only edit, delete, add within their own district. And this is worked really well, especially in my area where I've been able to watch it really well for us, and it keeps the stuff current. And then you can click on view all, and you can look and sort if you're trying to make a bridge in another district within your area. Want to go back real quick to our digital library. April, can you post in the chat the username and password? Do you have it? Okay. We used to ship boxes of stuff around the country, and people would pick up ideas from other areas on different literature they're using. And after this version of the website went up in 2011, we had gone to putting all the different documents on a CD and handing them out at the workshop. And it's like, duh, let's get it on the internet. It's divided into treatment centers for AA members, recruiting, volunteer forms, anything and everything you could think of from different areas around the United States and Canada. Different forms and pamphlets that they have custom designed from their area to hand out. Let's see, working in correctional facilities, because some of the information is a little bit different. We don't have very much in French and Spanish, but this is what we've got. There's also in here, and this is password protected specifically because we do have some documents in here that contain full names in our history, our guidelines, different things that we didn't want to have in a public space on the website. So, did you get that posted? I don't have chat open. You all are welcome to go in, look at whatever you need to. I know that my area took a booklet on Bridge the Gap from one of the areas in California, and we edited and adopted it, and it has been real helpful with us for getting and coordinating contacts. So I think that's about it. Like I said, we do have our current newsletter up. There is also a flyer. If you go in on the newsletter, we do have direct contact by email or phone, and those are all cell phones. We did not publish any landlines in a public area. But just, feel free to go in and look.
April just posted that username and password, by the way, in the chat.
Okay, perfect. This is in the public space. So sometimes we, professionals want to look at it and just give a brief overview. Bridging the Gap, we work not only with treatment and corrections, but with PI and CPC, with, especially in the correctional institutions, it's getting into the professionals sitting behind the desk, the release coordinators, whatever they're called in your state, to let them know that this is available. Another thing we've been looking at recently is parole and probation. If we're not in a facility, and we're not in all of them, then working with parole and probation when they get out, maybe that's a way to get them to a meeting before they get too far away from something they might have heard in the facilities. So another one is hospitals. We've started giving information to nurses on the desks in the hospital wings, and working with emergency room nurses. We seem to have better luck with nurses than with doctors. Somebody comes in and they've seen them 3 times this week and they're drunk again, they can slide them the information, um, anywhere we can. So that's it for me. Um, Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. And thank you to April. And thank you for these amazing presentations and filling us in on how you're using technology to meet these needs. But thank you very much for both of your service in the Bridging the Gap space, because it is so incredibly important. I came to AA out of prison myself many years ago, before there were many of these programs available. And if I didn't get my butt to an AA meeting the 24 hours later, who knows where I would have been today. So thank you for all the effort that you put in to make this possible. Appreciate it. And we'll move on now to the questions and sharing. If you have a question on the topic, you can direct the question at either presenter. If you have a question for Sherry or for April, feel free to ask either of them a question at this time. You can just raise your virtual hand if you know how to do that. If you don't, just put your hand in front of your microphone or in front of your camera, and we'll figure it out. We did finish a little early, so we do have some extra time. I'm okay with closing early also, but we have lots of time for questions. So let's start with Jim, since I think he had his hand up first.
Guys, thank you. This is really informative. Jim from Area 59, Eastern Pennsylvania. We're using a lot of the things that you were discussing. The one thing that I have not been able to do is get tied into Bridging the Gap Worldwide. I've sent some emails. I don't know if you have our emails, and I've never heard from Bridging the Gap Worldwide. I really wanted to go last year to Montana. And I'd like to go to LA. I'd like to get more involved. At our area, I'm a trusted servant. I go between panels to keep continuity with all the districts. I have 48 districts and 8 intergroups that change over. So that was the first thing I'd really like to, if I could get somehow tied into the Bridging the Gap and into your Zoom meetings and into your national workshop. The other thing that you started saying all the different areas we're getting into. I've tried to get into parole and probation. We do about 5,000 to 6,000 requests a year in Eastern Pennsylvania. And I'm doing it the old-fashioned way when it comes out of state. I had one in Ontario, and I had to call somebody I knew in Northern PA to get me somebody across the border in New York, who got me somebody in Northern New York, who got me somebody across the border into Canada, who got me somebody in Ontario, who got me somebody to pair off. And that can take some time. And we try to turn these around in 24 to 48 hours. So I'd like to get that. With the parole and probation, my biggest battle is explaining what our traditions are to these parole and probation officers in these departments, because they want us to track. And I'm like, it don't work that way. Once I pair somebody off, there's their ghost. There's no tracking of them. And that's not what AA is about. We can't be affiliated with that. We're just offering you something, try to make your job easier. So I wanted to know if you've had the same experience, if you had any struggles with that. But I'd like to get invited to Bridging the Gap Worldwide. I'd like to be part of that, and anything that's needed. I know a couple of you on here have used a lot of Area 59's material. We stole it from somebody else who came before us. It all belongs. And people call and go, is it copyrighted? Can we borrow it? You're more than welcome to, because somebody let us borrow it. Nothing's new in AA. We just try to fix it all the time. And sometimes it just works as it is. Thank you all for your time tonight.
Thanks, Jim.
Sherry or April, did either of you want to respond to any of that, or?
With parole and probation, I used to sit in meetings with one of the instructors when they were in training, and that was my original in. What I've told parole officers is if you want to give them a sheet for them to have signed at a meeting, we can let you know what meetings do that, which ones don't. But all that we do is connect people. That's, you're talking a whole different thing. And try to explain to them that the person has to take some responsibility for themselves. If they want to make good parole and get off paper, they need to take responsibility for getting their own sheet signed, not an outside entity.
Right.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head how you tried to contact Bridge the Gap? Did you go through GSO? Did you find our website? Did you send an email?
I found the website about a year and a half ago, and I sent you a text or an email through your contact us, explain that I was somewhat new. I've been doing this now for 4 years, but at the time I was somewhat new, and I'd really like to get involved with Bridging the Gap worldwide, and I never heard anything.
Okay, I'm going to put my email address in the chat.
And I'll send you an email.
Okay, and also, well, that didn't go.
Just put a W in front of it. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
I got it. Webmaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will get back to you. Like I said, the registration forms are on the website. You can always go in and register online. We got a real good deal with a hotel in LA, I think for $139 a night plus tax. So I will be there. The more the merrier. We are this year going to test out having hybrid sessions. If we don't make our hotel contract and go belly up, that will be the last year that we do that. But our hope is that some people who don't have financial support from their areas, or maybe an area would send them, but district people would like to zoom in and see some of this stuff. Maybe it will get more people there. So it's the first year we've tried this. We're keeping our fingers crossed.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
David, we're going to go to you next, since you were waving your hand very enthusiastically at the camera before all those other hands went up.
Okay, I'm David. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm with Area 92 here in Eastern Washington, and I'm also District 17. I do the corrections chair for 17, and I'm Bridge the Gap workshop weekend, and quite a few treatment liaison and other things for the area. What I'm struggling with is we just had a service fair in December, and I got a bunch of names. I don't know how to put them on there, and I did come to Missoula, Sherry, and I saw you there when we were there, and I tried to get onto this Airtable thing that we discussed, and I got a message error on that wouldn't let me get into it. I don't know how to track my volunteers.
Okay. Email me and we'll set up some time for a Zoom session.
Okay.
The module, the add-on that I wrote in PHP is on GitHub, but it takes a little bit to understand how to add it. And usually you have to have somebody from your tech committee of your area website. I'll be glad to work with you and help you set that up and get started on it.
I'll do that then. Is there a good time to reach out to you, or just any time? And then you get back to me when you can.
I pretend to be retired.
Me too.
So it just kind of depends. But if you email me, we can figure out a time when we're both available. If you're retired too, it could be days, afternoons. You're on the West Coast, so good. Your 8 o'clock is my 10 o'clock. At least I'll have coffee by then. So we'll get it worked out.
Thank you. That was my biggest question, so I'll let others go.
Thank you, David. This time we're going to go to the Area 60 Treatment Coordinator. I don't know your name. You're on mute.
Can you
There
hear
you
me?
go.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Maurice. I'm the Area 60 Treatment Coordinator and slash temporary serving as the newly Bridging the Gap chair. And Sherry, I met you at the workshop in Missoula, and I'm glad that our tech people that for the area had sent us this invitation to come tonight. So I'm glad I was able to come to see you. And I've been trying to explain the program that you were talking about, like with the contact list, it raised some questions. And are they I didn't understand from my part, like we didn't have control of the website because someone did, and then we got it back and they're like trying to redesign it and stuff like that. The web coordinator wants to put Bridging the Gap onto the area website. So is there you did put your email or your contact information because I
Yes.
lost it coming out of Missoula so that they could. And the other question was they're talking in the chat ways to get to the archives. I'm hoping that the tech coordinator, the ones that referred me here, can get to that. But how will we access this so that they can probably see this presentation that you did and try to see what I'm talking about?
Brian?
In a week, within a week you will get if you're signed up tech sharing. Oh, what's the email again, Brett? Tech sharing sessions at gmail.com. We will send, or if you are using the Technology NAA forums, links are posted to the Technology NAA forums as well as sent out on our email distribution list. So there you go. So if you sign up for
Okay.
our email or use the TIAA forums, you will get the information, which includes links to all of our past sessions, videos of all of the past sessions.
Thank you. Also, our co-chair is here too, so I get to see this vision. So thank you. Thank you, Sherry, for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maurice. How about Patrick?
Hey everybody, my name is Patrick. I'm an alcoholic, and thank you very much for doing this. Sherry, nice to see you. I think we'll be talking on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's really great to see the BTG WW website and how it makes that connection to the areas quickly. You mentioned two examples of one area completing a Bridging the Gap request in like 15 minutes, and another one taking 2 weeks, and then the person's drunk. And so I'm curious, what are the like 4 areas that want to get close, that are maybe a little more 2 weeks right now and want to get closer to that 15 minutes? What are some areas that are doing things really well, especially if they've written stuff down so that we could start to replicate that and get closer to them?
The 2-week scenario is when you hand them a paper form and the only physical address they have to mail that to is GSO. They'll mail it to GSO. It will go to the treatment desk, and then they will mail it to the area treatment chair. And then the area treatment chair either does something with it or they will pass it off to, if that area has a Bridge the Gap chair. So that takes time. It just does. Some of them, I have seen them take address labels and put a local address or phone number, contact information, and just paste it right over the GSO address, especially with phone numbers. At least that's more local and will be handled a little bit quicker. The best way that we have found, depending on if you're doing treatment or corrections, my area had a business card with a Google phone number on it and a QR code that they could call, and they'd hand it, when you get out, call this number. Or use in treatment, if they have their phones, they can go on and fill out this form from the treatment center before they get out, and we can start arranging a contact. With correctional facility, it's working with the professionals behind the desk at the correctional facility, their release coordinator, transition, whatever it's called 50 different things in 50 different states. But getting to that person and explaining what we do, if they're going to like a halfway house treatment center as part of their release, that's a temporary interim place, talking to those and showing them the form. The one that took 15 minutes, she got the request information on her phone, and she had the list of, she was able to get to the database on her phone and synced up what town and what district it was and sent the email. Or actually, she sent a text, and the person texted back and said, "Yes, I'll take this. You're covered." You know, electronics makes it so much faster. You know, and to be honest, these days with the post office, sometimes it's a little scary thinking of somebody mailing a piece of paper and then sitting there and waiting. So that's, and check out the digital library. Different areas have different forms that they use, different methods, and there's so much information in there. So that's my best.
Thank you. And Dave G.
Hi, everyone. My name's Dave. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm the Washington State East Area 92 Tech Chair. So I just wanted to let David know that we do, you can send something to support at Area 92, and we'll get you in contact with people. I'm dropping, the treatment page of our website there in the chat. And we did recently get a new guy to talk about, or to do the Bridging the Gap. We, for our DCMs and alt DCMs, there is Google Workspace and Google Sheets and Google all this and that that they can record their stuff with, and so take a look at the website, and like I say, support at area92aa.org. So thanks.
Thank you, Dave. Brett, you're up.
Thank you. Brett Alcoholic out of Area 34. A couple of things. We use a hotspot map for our districts. It's called Hotspot plugin for a map. Let me just bring that up real quick on our Area 34. And I'm curious, what are you using? It's all PHP on your map, Sherry?
No, actually, that map is old HTML,
Okay.
pre-Google, and that's why I said that's got to be updated. I've been trying to figure out the next best thing to work. If you are familiar with something like that, I mean, right now, my next guess to make it easier on a cell phone, I have a database of about 20,000 zip codes that are supposed to include everything in the United States and Canada.
Yeah, I mean, you're on a large scale. See, for us, I mean, I was thinking about possibly implementing this, talking with our tech committee. See, we just click on District 13 and it'll either take it to their district or their meeting guide. And it would be, this is on WordPress. And we just use, it's called a hotspot plugin. You got to get a graphic and put it together, and you can do it right on the website. And for our treatment, been working pretty close with April on this as far as getting forms set up, so they go directly to a spreadsheet. But like you have on your place, on your data, it's tough to, with Google Sheets, you can make all kinds, you can take all the districts and put them on different sheets, but you can't get a password for each one of those sheets. You can't put a password on it. So maybe we'll take a look at what you have there. I am, I have a background in multimedia design. I can get myself in trouble with PHP and HTML very easily. But I mean, we have created some, um, I forget what it's called. It's like a form that you can just plug in to a spot HTML. You just put the code in and then it pops up on our website. But I would like to I'd like to find out more about this PHP or you said you could do it in HTML as well?
If you have an HTML website, the way hosting works these days, almost every hosting company in the world will
Yeah, we can
recognize a
do it. We do
PHP.
it through Elementor, a builder
Yeah.
through Elementor. So
Okay. This is not a plugin. You have to manually go in and FTP the code into it and
oh,
set it up
FTP. Okay. Well, we can
and
do that too.
add the tables. Now, my area, we've set it up in my area. We have a WordPress website and we've set it up in my area and it's working and used.
Okay.
So that's
All
why I
right.
said any host that you have that recognizes PHP and has a SQL database access, this
Okay.
thing will work on.
Awesome. Well, I will be sending you an email after I bring this up in our tech committee, and this is great. And talk with April and Brenda about this as well. Love to get this set up. Thank you.
We're bridging all kinds of gaps here. David, you had another question? Oh, you're on mute, David. There you go.
There we go. I got it now. No, the only thing I had was Sherry mentioned the library. That is a password protected area, though.
Yes.
Or it was.
No, it still is. The username and password is in the chat. The username is library. The password is lots of stuff, all little letters, no spaces.
Yeah,
We'll have
I got it. I
document,
just see it in the chat, so I'm sorry.
We'll have it in the document for archives if you want to go back and take a look at that. Give us about a week to get everything put together, and you'll have a folder that is dated for this date.
Yeah. Now,
okay, I just want to mention it. Oh, go ahead.
Just because there is some proprietary information there, the last thing we do at the workshop on Sunday morning is we put a new username and password. So that changes every year.
Okay. I had the password because of going to Missoula, and I've been in there, so I'm aware of it. I just wanted to let everyone else know if they were interested. It is a password site, but I didn't realize you had it in the chat. So I'm sorry. I'm out. I'll get out of the way.
You're fine, David. Thank you. Anybody else with a question or a comment? We're still holding on to 32 people. A very engaged audience this evening.
Been
Barry's
great.
waving his hand.
Who's waving his hand? I don't see it.
Barry.
Go ahead, unmute yourself if you're.
Barry.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Hey, this is great information. My name is Barry and I'm an alcoholic, presently chair for Bridging the Gap in Calgary in Area 78. Hi, Sherry. It's nice to see you again. We met in Missoula.
Yeah.
We've been using the QR code as well, and it's worked very well. We've got that on a business card, and we put it on a postcard as well, and we hand them out at treatment centers, and people scan it, and you can go right to our website, and you can either become a volunteer or you can sign up and become a client, and it comes right to the chair at the time, and then I would, or whoever's chairing, just disperses the information to the male or female coordinator, and it's very effective. We work closely with the treatment in Area 78, and we're always looking for good ideas and how we can, get information to move quick. I just want to thank Bridging the Gap Worldwide. We've attended that workshop for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's been amazing. The wealth of information and that digital library. We always think we have to recreate everything. Well, it's all sitting right there, and we just got to shape it to, the way we want it. And I want to put a little plug in for Area 78 as we went down and put a bid in to host that workshop here in Canada in 2026. So, Sherry, I hope we stay above water because we want to see y'all up there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brenda's
Thank you,
got her
Barry.
hand up.
Are there any other questions? Any other hands raised?
Yeah,
Brenda
Brenda.
and Leslie.
Brenda here. Hi. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Has anybody ever asked or proposed that this be put on the meeting guide app?
No.
Okay. Should we? Could they?
I'm part of the programming group that maintains the website plugins that feed into the app and the original app before it went to AWS. It would, oh no, that would be such a monster.
It would open up a can of worms, that's for sure.
Oh boy, howdy. And really until AA figures out, like I said, it's called 10 different things in 93 different areas. It functions differently every place. I still, we send stuff out and I still get responses. We don't do Bridging the Gap, we do pre-release. And until, as a fellowship, we can get united enough to have common terminology for doing the same thing, it would be hard to put an app under one title. People would refuse to use it because it's titled the wrong thing. So we've got some stuff to do as a fellowship first. And creating this, yes, it's possible. Technically, it's possible. Feasible in an alcoholic world, I'm not sure we're ready for that yet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda. Leslie? Demute.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I'm an alcoholic. I'm the Area 34 Technology Chair. And the Tech Committee has worked real close with April in her treatment committee. With each committee, we have a landing page and we have a treatment landing page on our website and have created forms through, because we have several treatment facilities within Michigan, and we have a statewide meeting that coordinates somewhat. That's a bit challenging too, but most of the people getting out in Michigan are going somewhere in Michigan. I like this idea. This is great because there might be some people going somewhere else in the country, and this is fantastic and excellent presentation. But we have worked with April in getting connected with the districts in our area and the districts with the other area in Michigan. And she's done a great job of coordinating the cats to get and trying to have a treatment meeting every month to educate the people that are going into the treatment facilities on what to say. And we had an event here in our district, and we were signing people up on our tablets. We were signing, the volunteers to go in, and some people can take their phones into the treatment facility, the volunteers,
right,
and sign people up right there. They mentioned bridging the gap, but it's gathering the AA cats that is the biggest challenge. Or whatever you want to call them, giraffes, elephants. They're hard to gather, and that's been our biggest challenge in Area 34. But our website is very functional locally in Area 34. That's it. Thank you both for your presentations.
Herding camels.
Yes.
Brett, your hand is up again, Brett.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick statement. We are one of the areas that corrections and treatment are separate, and statewide, where all 3 areas of Michigan, they don't even have a treatment committee, just a corrections committee. It's just they combine it into accessibilities for some reason. It's crazy, but it is what it is. I just wanted to mention that. It is crazy. Thanks.
At GSO, the treatment desk is actually the Treatment Accessibilities Remote Community and Bridging the Gap. And that may be why the other areas have grouped it that way.
Well, I wanted to comment. April, I scanned your QR code and went to your form, and what a wonderful job you've done making mobile-friendly forms to get information. And apparently, that information is getting into those Google Sheets that you showed in your presentation, and that is just tops. I'm wondering, are you hand separating them into districts, or are they automatically going into the correct district?
Thank you, Brian. So we had the master sheet that shows all of them, and then we have to put them into the individual district.
Got it. Awesome
So
job.
I really like how Sherry showed on hers where you can just pull it up by districts and it's done that way. That's just phenomenal. So I look forward, Brett and Leslie, to working with you guys. But I think it's important too. Not really what it is to me. What I envision is so area can oversee it, right? Like we'd have access to all of that, which we do right now. But when you allow individual district treatment chairs or the DCMs or the accessibilities, whatever the title might be, to take that ownership, I think it really could help out so much. And people want to get involved. But, I'm speaking from experience. I would always like, oh, those district people or those area people, they got it all figured out. So when you give me something that I can do and I have a passion, but sometimes I don't know how to make that connection, I'm looking forward to this. Thank you, Sherry, so much. I intentionally wanted to share really, really short. But as I've shared before, I live in the middle of nowhere. So my connection's so unstable here and I apologize, but what a fabulous time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Piggybacking on what April said, when you're trying to build a contact list from the area level, it seems like it's a lot harder than from the district level. And when the districts know that they're responsible and they get to have the input and they get to fill out the forms, it seems like they more actively try to build those contacts within their district and keep them current. It's a bit of pride in the district that they're doing this. So that filling it out at the district level has worked really well, especially if you've got, I did some work with Southern Minnesota, and they started out, they had like 2,000 people on their contact list. And they had so many, but they said sometimes it'd take 10 or 12 calls just to find somebody to answer the phone, and another 10 to get somebody who was willing to take a bridge that week. And when the districts are maintaining their own list and they know who's energetic, who has a sponsor, who's going to do this, just the setup time for the bridge is a lot shorter and a lot easier on the coordinator. So, Jim?
Yeah, that's how Area 59 does it. And what I give back is they're rotating at these districts and at these intergroups every 2 years. And they always lose these lists. So what the area has offered is you give me your list, I'll compile them, I'll maintain them, and I'll give you access to your district or to your intergroup. And then when I get a request, let's say coming from out of the state to me, I send that to the coordinator at that district or at that intergroup, and they place them because they have a better idea of what zip codes near what zip code. As you said, it makes them feel like they're part of the structure. They work within the structure, but by the area maintaining the overall database, you don't lose it between panels. I lose people and I have to spend 6 months chasing the next person, but I still have the access to it so I can fill in a bridge in the interim. But the more they seem to participate, I agree, they seem to take more ownership of it.
Thanks, Jim. Maurice, did you have a question? I think it was Maurice. I got your name right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Maurice. Hi. I have a question for Sherry. With the program, I know that with the presentation, you said it was a generic form. When you work with the coordinators or the tech chair, it can be designed in the way that the area wants. Is that the way I understood it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can take the colors from your website, the logos, whatever, and add it in. It's just basic PHP.
Okay. Thank you.
And I will tell you, I think PHP is an ugly language. It's awkward. I hate it. And if I can learn it, anybody can.
Thank you.
David?
Good evening, everybody. My name's David. I'm an alcoholic. I work with Maurice in Area 60 here in Western Pennsylvania. Maurice and I'm a co-chair with Maurice for the Bridging the Gap at Area 60. Thank you so much for, I don't know, I guess in my mind, like sort of releasing some pressure of having to follow things so exactly because I mean, I like to, I'm a good communicator. I went to art school. I like painting, graphics. I like getting people interested in doing something. And one of my takeaways from this is that, I'm also a GSR for my home group. You know, I'm just going to start asking people, look, we need volunteers for a lot of things, not just a treasurer or the secretary and we need people that are in the program new who have skill sets that some of us don't have, like how to work with a database, how to show people how to use their phones. I mean, come on. That's what we
Yeah.
need. And thank you so much, Sherry, for sharing all of this because I'm thrilled to see the amount of work and the talent that's available and has been available to carry the message. Because I mean, basically carrying the message is bridging the gap is to me just is the same as carrying the message. It's when two people talk to each other and help each other out to move
Right.
forward. So that being said, I mean, we're currently working on a form that people can fill out. Hopefully, we can get something into the new website for Area 60 that is plug and play. People can sign up to be volunteers, whatever, on the site, and then we'll be able to manage the data and connect people. Thank you. I'm glad that that's available. We'll steal from it. We'll do whatever we can, but but alcoholics need, it's just like you said, there's like 10 different things. I lived in DC and I worked for the government. It's the same thing. Like there's 10 different forms for the same thing.
Mhm.
They didn't have bus stops, they had discharge centers or passenger retrieval centers. Like, it's a bus stop, okay? It's a bus stop. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be working with this group. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other hands up? Anybody waving at the camera? No? Is that a wrap, everybody? I want to thank April and Sherry once again for marvelous presentations, excellent Q&A. Thank you, everybody, because I've learned a lot from the questions and sharing that have taken place. This has really been a wonderful tech sharing session for me personally. Thank you for all of you for being here. Let's see, I have some business to attend to here. That brings us to the end of our session. We're going to paste this in the chat in case you have further questions. Here's that link to the TIAA forum once again. You're all invited to spend the whole weekend learning about and discussing how to best use technology for AA service by attending the 2025 National AA Technology Workshop. That is coming up in November in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
Before we close, here are a couple of closing announcements regarding these technology sharing sessions. As I mentioned before, the presentation, we are a learning group with a variety of levels of technology experience, from beginners to experts. And because we're a learning group, all of you are eligible to present at future technology sharing sessions on the topics you've learned something about in your journey. This isn't a forum for experts only to share. This is the forum for anybody who is using any kind of technology to help them in AA service, to be able to share that experience with other people. You'll be surprised at how much the things that we think are the simplest things can make a big difference in somebody else's use of technology. So really, if you have any experience to share, don't be afraid to join us. Let's see, if you haven't already, please fill out this topic survey. I think Brad's been posting the survey form. So if you want to give feedback on the session, use the survey link. Also fill out the feedback form. Oh, that's right. The topic survey is for recommending future topics. If you have a topic that you're interested in, share it with us. We'll try to find people who have experience with it, and we'll put it on the calendar for this year. We do have some availability in our calendar this year. And of course, then there's the form for giving us feedback on these technology sharing sessions. Please fill that as well if you'd like. Let's see, here's a link to the technology sharing sessions archives. I know we've posted this a couple of times. I know Brett's posted it a couple of times. I'm posting it again. The recording of today's session will be added to the archive. So if you give us about a week, we'll have the links document filled out with some of the information that was gathered in the session, as well as the recording of the presentations. They'll be there within a week. Okay, and if you want to be added to our tech sharing sessions email distribution list, just a reminder, we'll send once a week before the session. We'll send out an email letting you know that the session is next week. We do it once a month, the last Tuesday of the month. Just go send an email to tech sharing sessions. That's an S on the end, tech sharing sessions @gmail.com. And Brett can stop the recording now. Or did he already?